Hey, this is Mark with Living RV Style, and today I'm going to show you my recipe for beef and bean burritos. I'm using a lot of fresh ingredients in this. I think that really makes a difference in the overall outcome of the meal. This is also something that you can create in advance, prepare it, get it all wrapped up and ready to go, toss them in individual Ziploc bags, toss them in the fridge, and then you've got a couple of days worth of meals there that you can share with your family. I just went grocery shopping and I bought a lot of fresh ingredients from the store for my beef and bean burrito that I'm going to cook today. I buy Fajita style tortillas because I think that they're a little more manageable. If you get the burrito size ones, it's kind of like what you would get at Chipotle. That to me is enough for 2 or 3 people. Fresh cilantro, fresh limes, tomato, tomatillo, jalapenos, and onion, and I even got a clove of garlic over here. I'm going to actually get 3 cloves out of that, and then my ground beef, and then some of the other ingredients that we'll discuss later on in the video. First thing we're going to do is brown 1 pound of lean ground beef in a skillet, and we want that to be nice and crumbled up. So once it starts to cook in here, I'll break it up and brown it real well, and then we want to strain off all of the fat and water content that comes off of it. Shouldn't be a lot. I'm using Angus beef. It's pretty lean, not a lot of fat. So we want that to cook down, and once that's browned, then we'll move on to the other things. Okay, it's starting to brown up here real well, and you want to kind of break this up into small pieces, small as you can, so that it's easier to bite into. We want to brown this real well, and right before I get it completely brown, I'm going to jump over to the cutting board, and I'm going to mince up 3 cloves of garlic, and we're going to add it. Okay, I've got my 3 cloves of garlic here. Basically want to get these cleaned up, and probably got even more than that. I like a lot of garlic, and I also like a lot of cilantro in this recipe. Just going to peel that outer skin off. About a minute or 2 before we get ready to take this off the fire and drain it is when we want to put in that garlic that I just chopped up. This is looking pretty good. So I want to cook that into it a little bit before I drain it. There's my garlic. Get that all stirred up in there. A lot of you are probably saying, oh, you shouldn't drain it down the kitchen sink, but as long as you're running water through there, and you got to remember that this is a really lean hamburger, and a lot of that is going to be water, very little bit of grease, but we definitely want to drain most of it off as much as we can. And so what we're going to do now is I've already pre-measured the dried oregano, ground cumin, and chili powder, and I'm going to go ahead and mix that in. And I've got this on a low heat, just to keep it warm and help with getting all those flavors mixed together. And while that's heating up, I'm going to come over here. And I've got about a can of Chipotle's in adobo sauce. So I'm going to come in here and chop this up. Seeds and all. This will give it some zip, I like to say it. Add in there. that up. And also, I like taking a little teaspoon and getting about a teaspoon of the juice out of this can. Now, if you don't like it extra spicy, then you may not want to do that. But I like it with a little bit of bite to it. So do that to your own liking. Whoa, I lost some. Alright. So we'll get this all mixed up. It's nice and brown. Get those flavors all mixed up together. And that's pretty much what it should look like. Alright. Okay, the next thing we'll want to do is take our whole black beans, and we're going to drain all the liquid off of them. I want to wash them. Usually wash them in a can like this. These are seasoned, because I have to give more flavor to it. Okay. Alright, so we got those cleaned. And we're going to toss this in the skillet. Just like that. Now I've got this on low heat, and we're going to mix all these beans together with that meat. Make sure you got it mixed up real well, but be careful because these beans have already been cooked, and so it makes them a little fragile. So you don't turn it into total mush. Just gently mix it in together. Now, a lot of people use rice in their burritos. I just chose not to. You can certainly add rice to this recipe pretty easily. But we're just going to go this route for today. Alright, that's looking good. I'm going to go ahead and turn the flame off, and then we'll go on to the next step. We're going to make homemade Pico De Gallo. Now, I almost forgot one last step. Of course, the lime juice will be in the Pico De Gallo as well. But I like taking one full lime and juicing it right into the meat. I think this gives it a really great flavor. Alright. I'll mix this up a little bit more. Again, I've got the heat off now, but I want to get that lime juice in there. That's one last step I almost left out. Alright, we're looking good. It's going to be nice. Okay, now we're going to do all of the fresh ingredients. And I'm going to start out by taking one large jalapeno pepper, and I'm going to seed it and dice it up. Want to make sure you get all the seeds out of there because it doesn't need to be any hotter than it already is. So we chop that all up. And then we take one decent size tomatillo, and you want to dice it all up. And then I take a fairly good sized onion and I cut a third of it off, peel the skin, and then dice it all up. And toss that in a bowl, get some room there on the chopping block. And then I take a good sized homegrown tomato, chop it up, put it in there. You'll get a lot of juice off of that. And then I like a lot of cilantro
probably the better part of a third or a half of a bunch, and chop it up, toss it in there. And then I take 2 limes and juice them.
So my skillet here has cooled off. We're going to be putting the bean and beef mixture into a flour tortilla, adding some 4-cheese Mexican cheese. This has shredded Monterey Jack, cheddar, queso, quesadilla, and asadero natural cheeses, if I'm pronouncing that right. Alright, so we just grab one of these. Again, I'm using fajita style, fajita size, rather than the burrito size, because my wife and I like our portions a little smaller. So we'll scoop up some of this mixture here. And doesn't that look good? And be careful not to get too carried away with the amount that you put in each one of these, because you still have to have room to roll it up in there. And then I'm going to take some Pico De Gallo, just a little bit there. Okay, and then I'm going to sprinkle some of this Mexican blend cheese here. Now, since I'm making these up in advance, I'm not worried about heating the cheese up, because when we get one out of the fridge and get ready to eat it, you can just toss it in the microwave and cook it for about 25-30 seconds. Depends on your microwave, of course. And this is how I like doing it. I like getting it started this way first, and then I fold in the edges on the ends, and then I roll it on over just like that. That's my burrito. That's just the right size. Like I said, I like eating them for breakfast, but they're also good for lunch or for dinner. I'll build you one more before we say goodbye. Nothing like fresh-made Pico De Gallo. You can't buy it at a store like this. It never tastes the same. Alright. Hold in the ends. Come over the top of that. Bring it on over, keeping it tight. There you go. That's all there is to it. And again, if you want to look at all the ingredients that I have in this and step by step, it'll be in the description below this video. Thanks, and we'll talk to you soon.